Welcome to the Scholar Strategy Review. It is Saturday, October 22nd. So let's just dive right in. I gotta tell you, based on the market structure analysis, when I was doing Forex this week, or end of last week actually, so yeah, at October 15th, right? Last Saturday, after I got through the videos with Scholar Strategy, I realized that, you know what? Maybe this week trading the USD pairs will not be so great. There has been a lot of volatility, especially with news. And in hindsight, I'm glad I stayed out of those pairs. That's for damn sure. All right, Euro GBP, I scrapped because over the last 3 weeks, there really hasn't been any trades worth taking. It's been incredibly slow, and when it actually does move, it's volatile on the pivot lines. So I took a break off the USD pairs and I checked out the JPY pairs, CAD and Euro specifically. So I was trading both of them, and what I realized is Euro JPY is more stable than CAD JPY. It's quite nice. So let's dive right in. I'll show you why I didn't take any AUD USDs, for example, right? When the strategy specifically states that EMA lines should all be kind of go in the same direction. So when you see something like this happening and lines start to compress, don't even bother trading until things spread out again, okay? When you have the first three lines, the yellow, red, and pink, kind of all over the place, right? And now the white's joining the party, not good. Okay, so that's not trades that you want to be a part of. And look, I was able to realize that Friday of last week. So I knew that, hey, you know what? This is not going to be a good trading week for the pairs. Look what happened. The first sell that would have been a potential take, that would have been a loss. That wouldn't have entered, that's a loss. That's a loss. That would have been maybe a break even. That would have probably won. That one may have won. Let's see. Yep, that would have won. And then, let's see, this would have won. And you know what? Even if it wasn't that crap, it was still 3 wins and 4 losses. So not the worst thing in the world, I suppose, right? I mean, it's still, what, 6 to 5 to 1, something like that. You know, not the worst, but we can certainly find better. Right? At least you know at this point in time, even taking choppy trades, as long as the big ones are pointing in the same direction, pretty good. And as far as USD CAD goes, right, same sort of idea. This was way worse though, right? As far as this goes, incredible chop. Like I am not comfortable trading something like this, and much worse than AUD USD is to show for. So I'm glad I stayed out of those ones anyway. So let's go into CAD JPY. Let's see how it was. So a total of 8 entries, 3 losses, 2 break-evens, and 3 wins. Seems almost as bad as AUD USD, right? Excuse me. But the only difference is some of these losses were incredibly minute. Like look at this one, okay? I just want to show you that this loss right here off that pivot line, right? Look at that. 17.7 pips, so 2 pips, 2.5 pips off pretty much until it went into profit. You know, kind of a bummer, but sometimes that sort of thing happens. Okay, so let's stretch it out and analyze this a little bit. Look at this. First trade of the week on the Sunday. Beautiful. This sucker, I mean, again, didn't shift EMAs when you're that much in profit. Look at this. Like, holy cow, even when it had a pullback, right? Maybe that would have been a good sign for an exit. That's an 8.5 to 1 ratio off of a 15 pip trade, guys. Like, that's bonkers, okay? That's what I'm getting at. Like, there's going to be opportunities where instead of trading in chop, it's going to be such a smooth move and you can really clean up, okay? That was an opportunity. But again, we're not talking massive gains here. We're talking about following the rules. So this was a 3 to 1, as every other Scholar Strategy trade is. Okay, that's a win. That's a loss. Unfortunately, I mean, technically not a loss. This would have been a break even. But oh, give me a break. Look at this. Look where it went. Was it 44.1 pips? I mean, we're not even a pip away from target, right? So here's my thing. When I'm watching this trade and I see it go to 44 and then start dropping, I would have closed it off manually, right? Instead of it breaking even, I probably would have got a 2-to-1 out of this, because that just really sucks. And then if it hit TP later, fine. You know what? At least I got a little bit in there. But watching these pullbacks and then hit your break even when it was less than a pip away from TP, that sucks. However, like I said, scholar strategy rules, I'm going to count this as a break even, okay? Next entry, now this one was a bit of a bummer, right? It was kind of all over the place, a little bit of chop, but yes, it did hit stop loss, even though later on it would have been just break even, so still not really a good win. But followed by the next one, entry would have just triggered at the edge of my rules and it hit TP, so that's nice. This one, even though it looks like a loss, that was a break even. It went up more than 15 pips and then back down. And then look how it would have triggered the next trade, right? Going into a buy. Oh, how unfortunate that is, right? It triggered by that 2 pips right there. And even still, if it would have went up, it would have triggered the break even. So bummer, but it is what it is. 2 break evens and 2 losses right now and 2 wins. So 2, 2, and 2. Finally, the third one is right here, and not a fourth one only because, again, it would have just triggered the entry point, but at the same time, the reason why it's not a loss, the reason why it's not a loss is because this passed the threshold of entry, right? So look, this is 1 a.m., 11 is my threshold, the 11 p.m., so 2300. Right, so the fact that it was that low and it didn't go up, I would have deleted the trade. So this loss wouldn't have even counted. Okay, so that is where it's at. 2 losses, 3 wins, and 2 break evens. So overall, still 7-to-1 on the pair. All right, not too bad. Euro JPY, much better comparatively, right, than the CAD JPY. And look, same sort of situation. As long as you understand candle patterns, this was a beautiful move. This could have been way, way more, right? It didn't even reverse until about here, right? So that would have been 240 pips. Look, a 16-to-1 trade. That would have lasted 2 days. I mean, like, that's crazy, the 16-to-1. There's some trades, honestly, guys, like I'm saying, you can let them run. Right? When you can see and analyze that, hey, you know what? This is going nowhere but up. I'm going to take the risk, maybe even with half of my position. It can work. There are times where, you know what, you can take the risk and it maybe hits break even. But what's the chance here? It hits your TP, maybe take another entry, or you know what, just let it ride. And at that point in time, my break even would be my break even. This would be the risk I take. And yet, you know what? It'd be a well worth risk because a 16-to-1 in 2 days, that's insane. But overall, we had 5 wins and 4 losses. And unfortunately, the losses were so... they were kind of crap losses, to be honest with you. Like this one, it was just kind of slow bleed to death. So that was a bit of a bummer, right? I didn't drop this one, but this was a loss. This one was a loss. And this one was a loss as well, only because entry would have been right there, and then it hit stop, and then it went up to profit. So it's kind of a bummer, but such are the rules, right? And then this one, judging from how it was, I wouldn't have even taken the buy. Like I saw it was so far down, I probably would not have set a buy. I would have waited. And if I did set the buy, then damn, bad decision, right? So we're going to count it as a loss just to say, because we wouldn't know that this drop was coming, right? So overall, 4 losses and 5 wins. So that brings us up to 15-to-1 minus those 4 losses. So overall, 11-to-1 on the pair, if all the rules were followed, okay? And like I said before, you saw how you can let this one run. Imagine being in the trade here, you're 45 pips in profit, and then you get smoked with your break even, right? So there are times where, it's going to look tempting, but I would say at this point in time, focus on following the rules. If you want to take another position with a different strategy, by all means. In this particular instance, all I'm trying to get at is when the trades are entered, follow those rules strictly. Because guys, even you miss that 16-1 opportunity here, you still leave the week with 11-1 on one pair, right? Imagine trading AUD/USD. I mean, it was still 5-1, even though it was such crap, right? So if I traded AUD/USD and the two JPYs, that'd be 5-1, 6-1, and 11-1. So I'm 21-1 for the week. And it's been a crappy week. That's what I want to get at. This is crap. I would not want to trade into this, and that's why I don't, because it looks terrible. But it's still profitable, as long as you know which direction to take the trades in. That's all I wanted to share, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.